Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Wednesday 1 Million Cups. Here's the 1 Million Cups mission. So a few of us were able to get down to Kansas City last week and went to the 1 Million Cups and Fast Track Annual Summit. So very rejuvenating, but overall, the Kauffman Foundation is really aiming to create space where startups, seasoned founders, and curious newcomers come to build meaningful connections, collaborate, and pay it forward, strengthening Lincoln's inclusive and ever-evolving ecosystem. And over the next few months, we're really going to be looking at trying to figure out how we can connect people in the room more. So stay tuned, because I think we've got some fun exercises, low-threat exercises. Please don't let that sway you. To just connect more with the folks in the room. So we're going to help facilitate some of that. So 1 Million Cups is all over the United States, but here's what the Midwest Central region looks like. And so we were able to connect with a lot of our friends in this ecosystem last week, which was pretty awesome. So I want to say thank you to our sponsors. Obviously, the Kauffman Foundation. The Kauffman Foundation is the one that supports and funds 1 Million Cups. 1 Million Cups folks are all volunteers. It's a volunteer group. Also pretty cool about last week is that everybody that was in that room were pretty much volunteers, and so it's just a completely different energy. I want to thank you to the Lincoln Partnership for Economic Development, Baird Home, Don't Panic Labs, we host the space, Escape Lincoln, Fuse, The Mill, Coffee, Merrill Lynch, and then AlloStream. If you don't know, we have a YouTube channel now, and so Gordon back there has been faithfully showing up every week and recording our meetings and our sessions so that those are now on YouTube. So please check those out. Yes, thank you, Gordon. All right, so our organizer team, again, all volunteers. So we have Abby with LPED, Ann McClure with Escape Lincoln the Nook, Dane with Bats and Rats, Amy, she's not here today, but she's with Southeast Community College, Dow with Merrill Lynch, Dave with UBT, he's also missing today, Sarah with Olson, and myself with Don't Panic Labs, then Vaughn Cotter with Strat DM, he's on vacation. Okay, please check in, please check in. So one thing we learned last week was that the Kauffman Foundation checks to see how healthy an entrepreneurial community is. One of the methods that they use to track that is through check-ins. And so and the Kauffman Foundation is the one that when you see stats out about the entrepreneurial ecosystem and how business is doing in the country, like we are part of those stats. So please check in. We want to show that Lincoln is a healthy community, but we also want to make sure that we're providing numbers that help the Kauffman Foundation tell the story to then get more funding or to fund the right areas. For office hours today, so Quentin raised his hand from MBDC. Nebraska Business Development Center. If you want to talk strategy or you're looking for funding or if you want to do something like, especially with right now, business with the government, there's a lot of red tape. Quentin can help you walk through that. I'm with Don't Panic Labs. If you want to talk about software development, innovation, I'm happy to support, happy to have that conversation. Chinchi, marketing and strategy. Dow with Merrill Lynch, so financial planning and business exit planning. So typically when we have startups, we also need to think about like what's your long-term end game as a business. So Dow will be great for that. Those are our office hours, folks. So if you have questions afterwards, please come find us. For today's presenters, we have Premier Umpire, which presented several months ago, but they're back to give us an update and to talk about the product they've been working on over the summer called Officiator. So gentlemen, if you want to come on up, the floor is yours.
All right, well, first off, I just want to start by saying thank you guys for having us today. We're happy to be here. Love coming out to 1 Million Cups. I know I wasn't able to make it last time, but these guys had a great experience, so I'm just excited to be here. All right. Imagine a world where a game will not be played tonight. Two teams are warming up under the lights for an event that won't happen, but not because their friends and family didn't show up, not because their coaches haven't been game planning for weeks, and not because another team wasn't available, but because of one of the most important aspects in sports, the official. Without an official to referee or umpire a game, games can't be played. This applies to all levels of sports, whether that be youth, high school, or beyond. Officials are a key part of what we do, but also the sports community. My name is Logan Hoffman, and I'm the president and a co-founder of Officiator.
My name is Brock Anderson, and I'm also a co-founder and the COO of Officiator.
I'm Kelby Zimmerman. I'm also one of the co-founders and the CEO of Officiator. Before we get into the solution, let me kind of walk through how the whole system of officials work. So when a team needs an umpire or a ref for a game, they're going to contact an official organization like Premier Umpires here in Lincoln, like us. Then Premier Umpires, their job is to recruit, train, and schedule these officials to work these games for that team. On the surface, this process seems very simple. The ref works for an organization that schedules them for games for that team. However, there's a major problem, and that problem is that there's not a clear path for someone that wants to start reffing. Without a clear path from interest to active officiating, this officiating shortage is going to continue to grow.
This is Bob. As you can see, Bob is very frustrated. Why is Bob frustrated? Bob is frustrated because Bob wants to become an official, but doesn't know where to start. He doesn't know who to contact, he can't find training or mentorship, and ends up quitting before ever officiating his first game. Every year, thousands of people like Bob are very interested in sports officiating, but come across these roadblocks. New officials are forced to search through thousands of different associations, many different websites, and emails just to find someone who is willing to help. Most quit before they ever even step onto the field for their first game. Now this is Tom. Tom is happy because Tom uses Officiator. With Officiator, Tom can create an account in minutes, connect with local official organizations instantly, complete his onboarding and training, and find his first game immediately. Now, both Tom and Bob have the same interest in officiating, but instead of coming across roadblocks, Tom uses Officiator to guide him through his entire officiating journey.
Today, most officiating software platforms mainly focus on the assigners and associations. They handle scheduling, managing, and administration well, but most too often overlook the most important part, and that's the officials themselves. With Officiator, we're taking a different approach. While still making games easier for assigners to assign, we're also making it easier to become an official. By helping aspiring officials with guidance, training, mentorship, and support, we are helping strengthen the officiating pipeline from the ground up. At Officiator, we don't choose to support officials or assigners, we do both because we know to help fix the officiating shortage problem, it starts by empowering those who step onto the field.
Now let's take a step back into Officiator's revenue model. So using Tom as an example, let's say Tom were to go out and work one game that would pay him $70. So when he gets paid out by Officiator, Officiator will withhold a $1 fee for Tom using the services, which would net Tom a $69 payment for that game. In the United States alone, there are over 50 million sporting events being played each year. Now this is across all levels, including professional, high school, youth, you name it. Officiator will target the youth level of these sports, which we calculate to be about 38 million games each year. Now, we feel that Officiator can make a direct impact on over 500,000 of these games right here in the Nebraska area alone. And yes, there are really that many games.
So why us? Why now? We know the client as assigners because we are assigners, but we're also officials. We officiate many different sports such as basketball, football, volleyball, and baseball, but the assigning side is something a little more niche that we've had the opportunity to experience through our business, Premier Umpires. In our first 2 years of operations, Premier Umpires has done just over $300,000 in revenue by attracting over 200 new officials to come umpire for us here in Lincoln and Omaha. We've made nationwide connections such as large tournament groups, coaches that have personal connections, and other assigning groups. Because we have access to run Premier Umpires, we understand not just what the officials would like to see, but what an assigner like ourselves would like to see from the app, making us able to target both of our client bases. We expect to run a beta test of Officiator using Premier Umpires' fall schedule in the fall and hopefully have results to launch this spring. Premier Umpires has been the incubation chamber for Officiator while still keeping the businesses separate. Thank you.
All right, what kind of questions does this group have for our presenters this morning?
We'll go right there.
I noticed that on the list of sports you left out soccer. Is that a reason?
No, when I was listing off sports, I was just talking about sports that we personally have experience with, but we've made connections with plenty of assigners that do a ton of different sports, and Officiator won't just target the sports that we officiate, it's going to target every sport we have access to here in Nebraska at first, and then eventually nationwide.
You guys do airsoft or paintball?
That's something we haven't really looked into that much, but that's something definitely that we're very interested into. I know personally my brother was really big into airsoft and was in like a team in a league and everything like that, so that's something that we could definitely see ourselves doing.
The way our development has gone so far, we don't see a reason that any activity that needs an official couldn't be integrated into the app. We're just waiting to explore more areas of expertise to get into things like airsoft, paintball, once we're ready to launch and understand who we can use.
Yeah, we'd love it.
That would be something great. Yeah.
Great connection.
Since your last presented here until today, what have you been doing differently? What are the challenges or what were the challenges?
Yeah, so since last time we presented, we didn't really have like anything, tangible. We didn't really have an app or anything. So we've actually been developing Officiator since that time to now. We've gotten a lot done, and we also went through the entire Premier Umpires season, so we got to learn a lot from that, also to bring into Officiator. And yeah, it's been a really good experience just to have both running at the same time, so we can make changes to Officiator when we notice them within ourselves running Premier Umpires.
How do you guys monetize? How do you scale? And who are your competitors in the marketplace, if any?
So our biggest competitor is actually who Premier Umpires uses to assign right now. We use Arbiter Sports, which I'd say is our biggest competitor. But Arbiter doesn't necessarily target the official like we were talking about. Arbiter, it's a glorified spreadsheet option from what we've come to understand by using it for Premier Umpires. It's very overpriced and outdated. So with Officiator, like Kelby and Brock both talked about already, is we're trying to target the official and the assigner. How do you monetize this?
Who pays?
So we actually our revenue model, if you want to go back, the Officiator fee is $1 per game, and that's based on our baseball rates, but we're looking at adjusting to a lower percentage model for sports like basketball that might pay a little less because the games are shorter. Across talking to different assigners, we've realized that some assigners would be comfortable paying that fee themselves as opposed to an official losing $1 per game, just based on how the assigner sets up their association. For example, some groups take dues. You have to pay $50 to officiate for them. So since they charge that administrative fee, they would be the ones paying the fee. Or bigger groups that don't necessarily take dues, or we could eliminate the need for dues, would push that onto the official. Instead of officials having to pay upwards of $100 to join an association, that $1 per game would be less for them and also push less of a charge from something like Arbiter onto the assigners.
And to further answer that, our plan is to come into like Lincoln to say, and go to like a sport like baseball and try to get all the assigners within that sport on. And then once we can get all the assigners for the sport, we plan to go and market to the officials themselves by offering, different discounts, things like that, or just marketing to them where they're at, to then bring them onto the app to get more officials for these associations as well as onto our platform.
And kind of to add on to that even, we've already talked to multiple associations within baseball in Lincoln, and multiple of them have got back to us saying they're interested in using Officiator if we can, show the testing and how it works. So I think that could very, very well be possible within the next year or next season with having all the associations in Lincoln for baseball, all using the app.
How to reach the wannabe officiator, and who will be doing the training for them?
So that's why groups like Premier Umpires are so important. So once you sign on to Officiator, one of the first things you're prompted to do is join or request an invitation to a group like Premier Umpires in your area. So once you get in contact with them through the app, they're able to post their training schedules, their required testing, all of that stuff will be accessible in the app, and it's managed by that secondary group like Premier Umpires. Officiator wouldn't need to train or send out any rules, testing, things like that.
How do you reach them now?
Oh, how do we reach the officials? So our first plan is to get in contact with the assigners, because assigners like Premier already have 200 plus officials at their disposal.
No. The wannabe. Not the one that's already.
Oh, the wannabe? Oh, yeah. So we plan on to go out and run ads on Instagram, Facebook, also go to things like high schools. Like we've been invited to different high school classrooms to talk about Premier, to talk about, here's a summer job that you guys could do, but actually, have a place where these people can go if they're just like, oh, my friend, he does a little bit of basketball. Maybe I want to try it out. I want to download Officiator and just see what's around, see what different groups are doing, maybe see what levels there are and see how I can move up. And that kind of will be our selling point, is like you can start as a high school job, but you can make this into a really big career.
As well as we're going to definitely market towards colleges, because we've learned through Premier that most of our umpires are college students, and us just marketing, being out there throughout the college campuses saying, hey, here's a great summer job, side job you can do, it's very flexible. So we're just going to keep doing that with Officiator, but then this way they can go to any sport, see any association, and get started quicker without having to find the person to contact.
What are some of your major goals and milestones you have for yourselves this year?
Yeah, so one of our major goals coming up is just our fall season beta testing. We have about 192 games that we're going to run through the system, and I think we're going to bring on about 10 or so officials just to start. And then if that goes well, we want to launch it fully within Premier Umpires to start the season, and we want to bring on our first customer hopefully by the next season so we can have them using it, not just us, because we know how it works, but we want their issues to come to us so we can fix it for the next people and whoever else we come on to.
So we'll take these last two questions back here before we wrap up.
Christy.
Hi guys, I don't know if you remember me, I was one of your judges.
Oh yes.
You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
I guess I'm curious what's here. Only a question is, where are you on the progression of things, and if you've got the 10,000 foot view of step-by-step what needs to happen, because I'm hearing there's lots of ideas and it's great to have them, but having the step-by-step, so it sounds like you're in beta and then you're going from there. So I guess is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So I guess my next question is then, what can we do to help you either get to that beta or the next step? What's the thing that we can most help you with here?
So we're prepared to run our beta testing this fall, like we talked about, and that's going to we're going to get into a lot of the nitty-gritty ourselves, our software team, as well as our officials, and really try to hammer out those bugs. And once we're done with that, we most likely will be looking for potential funding, advertising partners, marketing partners, strategists, come this winter and early spring, because that's the time we're really looking to take off and get in contact with new clients. And as 3 college students, we're lucky that we can use Premier Umpires a little bit to bankroll Officiator, but we are going to be looking for funding eventually, hopefully sometime this midwinter, I would say, and also just more expertise in the field and connections with people that we've met here at 1 Million Cups to hopefully further our software development as well.
All right, Michael, you get the last question before I get the very last question.
Sorry, I wasn't here for the first one.
That's good.
So if this was already answered, I apologize. But I'm curious, one of the biggest pain points for folks scheduling attorneys, is the actual payout to the official at the end of the tournament. Yep. They want that right away. So I don't know who's developing the app, or what payment service are you using to make that an easier process for the folks who are an attorney and then payout at the end?
Yes, so we are using Stripe's platform. It's integrated into Officiator. It'll be really easy for tournament organizations like yourself or anybody to just send their money directly to the assigner for them to pay out their officials. Or if you have your own group of officials, you can just immediately go on the app. You can see who you're paying out, who did how many games, where they're at, whatever, and then you can just press a button and boom, you pay them out immediately.
There's profiles for organizers, assigners, officials, coaches. Anyone who could be involved in sports at all would have access to their own specific type of profile and can easily just send money through Stripe right now.
All right, so 1 Million Cups, we're a community to support entrepreneurs and innovators. So what can we do as a community to support you?
Well, if you have any more connections or anybody any more connections or anything like that to help continue our growth, as well as anybody that would be interested in potentially invest into us in the future, anything like that. That's what we're looking for. So we're excited to get going.
Mentorship and connections, whether it's in the sports world or a different avenue, we're looking forward to hopefully shaking hands and getting to know a lot of you guys. So anything is good with us.
Wonderful. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to grab a picture
Thank you, yes.
right after this. All right, so some events and spotlights. Thank you, Dow, for updating this. Lincoln, there's a few things that are just happening throughout the space if you're interested in meeting more people and continuing the connections. So Lincoln AI, we do it once a month on Tuesday. It's Tuesday and Wednesday, 6 p.m. It's here. 1 Million Cups. Open coffees down at Crescent Moon every Thursday from 8 to 9:30. Bail Lincoln is the second Thursday of the month, and it's at the SEC Entrepreneurship Center. And then Founders and Friends, which Abby covers the bill. From LPED, it's the last Friday of the month at Boiler Brewing. Please check in if you haven't checked in. Numbers are important. If you would like to apply to present, so we have 2 different tracks for presenters, right? We have the entrepreneurs that are presenting their ideas to get feedback from the community and support from the community. And then we also have our entrepreneur support organizations. So you noticed in the month of July, we had people like NBDC and Union Bank that came in and presented just to talk about the different resources and how they support the entrepreneur community. We'll take both because it's really important that we're also educating the community as a whole. So if you would like to present, here's our link. You can also talk to any of the volunteers and we'll talk you through it. So thank you everybody for coming this morning. Stick around, there's still plenty of coffee. There's donuts back there that Merrill Lynch brought in for us. Yeah, if you have a chance, talk to the presenters more and thank you for being here.